Titans is finally back with its second season. Season 1 ended on an episode that didn't feel like a finale, and in turn, the beginning of Season 2 starts with an episode that doesn't really feel like a premiere. If you were someone that didn't really enjoy Season 1, you probably won't enjoy this episode for the most part, but the last few minutes of the episode shows promise of what Season 2 could be, and tonally it feels completely different from that of Season 1. Overall, I did enjoy the first season of the show. When I was first viewing the season, I enjoyed it a little too much. I looked past a lot of problems that the show had just because I love the characters that the show was about so much, especially Dick Grayson. I was so happy to finally get a live-action Robin after waiting so many years for a new one. The Season 2 premiere was a big mess, especially in the first 30 minutes or so when they were wrapping up the Trigon story arc. After this, when they tie up some loose ends from Season 1 and begin to show what Season 2 is going to be, is when the episode got really good in my opinion. So the episode starts where Season 1 ended with Dick embracing his darkness under Trigon's control. Raven's trying to snap him out of it but fails to do so, so he begins to chase Raven and Beast Boy around the house. Meanwhile, Starfire and Donna Troy are trying to get through the force field inside of the house to save Dick, Raven, and Beast Boy. Also, Hank and Dawn are in search of Jason Todd, so they go to Wayne Manor, find him, and they assume that they need Batman, not Jason, and Jason drops that Batman is with the Justice League, which is just a cool mention. This is one of the better scenes in the Season 1 portion of the episode, in my opinion. I really enjoy the dynamic between Jason, Hawk, and Dove, especially between Jason and Hank. I just think they got a really cool little brother, big brother relationship kind of going on. So they tell Jason that Raven needs his help and that they need to go save Dick, so they go do so, and they meet up with Starfire and Donna. Trigon brings the force field around the house down so all of them can go in. They all do, and each of them begin to experience nightmare sequences such as what Dick experienced in the finale of Season 1. None of these were that interesting to me. The only one I really enjoyed was Jason's, where he fought Dick. I thought his was actually really cool because it was kind of in connection to Dick's. It was right after Dick killed Batman and Jason saw it, so that's what made Jason highly upset that Dick killed Batman, and they begin to fight. And Dick has control of this entire fight, and then Jason ends up shooting him in the head with the gun that killed Bruce's parents. Starfire's is just her actually killing Raven, which is kind of weird because it shows that she doesn't want to kill Raven anymore, but she still does for some reason, I guess because she thinks it's going to get rid of Trigon or something. That's what Raven tells her anyway, and she actually goes through with it, killing Raven, so that's how she embraces her darkness. Donna Troy's is interesting, it's important, but I still don't really enjoy it. It's actually a memory. It's the memory of the day that her father dies. So this sequence starts off happy, and then once she realizes what day it is, she quickly runs to her dad's apartment, finds his crisp burnt corpse, and sees her younger self behind the chair scared. Reaches for her, she disappears, so she runs out of the room and sees the guy that started the fire, interrogates him kinda, and then just throws him out the window because he begs her not to kill him, but she does anyway. And Hank and Dawn's nightmare sequence is really weird because it's basically Hank getting some drugs delivered to him and getting Dawn to overdose on those drugs, which I really didn't understand. It was kind of confusing. So they're all under Trigon's control, and they all beat up Beast Boy, nearly kill him. Trigon reveals his true form, which we all know what that looks like. He's just way smaller than he usually is because they probably don't have the budget to do that, but he looked enough like Trigon to be able to go, yeah, that's Trigon. He didn't look amazing or anything though. The CGI was fine, I guess. It was suitable enough. But anyway, Trigon goes outside the house, gets all of them to follow him, and begins to just destroy the world, I guess. Like the grass and trees begin to disappear, and he's doing it really slow so Raven can snap Dick out of the trance, and she does that. Dick stays with Beast Boy because Beast Boy is not dead. He turned into a snake this episode, finally turned into something besides a tiger, so that was awesome. Also, the reasoning behind Raven getting the gem in her head is that it's actually her heart. Trigon rips out her heart in this episode, inserts it into her head, I thought that was good enough reasoning for her to have the gem. I think it's an interesting choice. But anyway, she goes and confronts Trigon one-on-one, and she doesn't really do anything special. She does basically the same stuff you saw her do all throughout Season 1, and Trigon just disappears. I'm sure he's not gone forever. I'm sure we'll see him back in the future, but for them to defeat Trigon so easily, and not even them to defeat him, but it just be Raven that defeats him, it was extremely underwhelming and pretty disappointing. I just think the show handled Trigon pretty poorly all throughout. They built up to him the entirety of Season 1. They revealed him in the penultimate episode, which should have been third to last episode, because this should have obviously been the finale to Season 1. But all they really did with him once they did reveal him was get him to put all the main characters through some nightmare sequences, possess them basically, and get them to beat up and nearly kill Beast Boy, and then he ripped Raven's heart out and inserted it into her head. But that was the Season 1 portion of the episode, which was really messy and pretty disappointing. They just didn't handle Trigon that well in the show. But once the Season 2 portion of the episode starts, it is extremely good. Just what felt like the very end of the Season 1 portion after defeating Trigon, when the team splits and is telling their goodbyes when Dick rides off in the van with Raven, Beast Boy, and Jason, it feels so tonally different from that of Season 1. But the first thing we see that really feels like Season 2 of the show is the setup for Deathstroke. It seems that he's really living in the middle of nowhere, just in a cabin in the woods, and has taken a break from Deathstroke, or is semi-retired from being Deathstroke because he thought he ended the Titans or split up the Titans. But once he sees the news on the TV and sees Jason saying that the Titans are back, it seems that a switch has flipped in his mind and that he knows he's probably going to have to become Deathstroke eventually. Probably sooner rather than later, and he goes to this armory type thing with all his guns, all his weaponry, and his Deathstroke suit, which looks absolutely amazing. And the actor they have playing Slade himself looks so much like Deathstroke. And I'm assuming that the guy he is with that asked him if they are back in business is either someone that's putting a contract on the Titans, or is maybe Wintergreen, who is basically the Alfred to Deathstroke. Speaking of Alfred, after this amazing Deathstroke tease, we go to Dick Grayson talking with Bruce Wayne, who is a Bruce Wayne that looks a bit more like Alfred than Bruce. Even a lot of the dialogue he says and the tone of his voice seems more like Alfred than Bruce. I think the casting of Bruce Wayne in the show was really off. But if it's just for this one episode, I'm okay with it because it is a short conversation that just wraps up some loose ends from Season 1. It was still cool to see Bruce in the show, even though I'm not that big of a fan of the casting. But this conversation leads to a little tease of a certain tower in San Francisco that we get to see directly after. Dick takes Raven, Beast Boy, and Jason to a tower in San Francisco that was formerly Titan's Tower and seems that it will become Titan's Tower once again. Beast Boy finds where Dick, Hawk, Dove, and Wonder Girl used to suit up at, and there's this awesome montage of them suiting up, so I'm assuming that we'll be getting flashbacks to the original Titans going up against Deathstroke while the current Titans are going up against Deathstroke as well. Then the episode ends on a satisfying note of Rachel asking Dick where they are and Dick responding home. Zooms out, we get a shot of San Francisco, and we see that the tower isn't T-shaped, but it has a window that's shaped like a T, so we get an homage to the Titans Tower in the comics or the original animated series. I think it would have been really cool for them to make the entire tower an actual T-shape, but I understand why. It would have been kind of ridiculous, but it would have been ridiculous in a good way. It would have been fun to see, but I'm not too upset that they didn't do that. So overall, I don't think this episode was very good as a premiere. I think the latter part of the episode set up Season 2 extremely well, but the Season 1 part was extremely messy and clunky, so I did enjoy the episode, but I don't really think it's that great of an episode. And I'll probably be reviewing Season 2 episodes a bit more critically than I did for Season 1 episodes. With all that being said, I'm going to give this episode a 7.8 out of 10. I think the Season 2 portion is near perfection, but the Season 1 portion is lacking. The episode wasn't good as a premiere, but it set up Season 2 extremely well, and I cannot wait for the next episode and the future of the season. Deathstroke already seems like a major threat to the Titans, and we haven't even seen him in action. He barely even spoke in this episode. So with all that being said, let me know what you thought about the episode down in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.
How about it, old man? Are we back in business?